I guess we can all agree that change is coming and reading as we know it is coming to an end. In today's video, we will touch on the future of reading as well as what's next in reading trends. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of videos circulating on the internet about reading trends. Reading trends to die, reading trends to live in 2024. And I really want to talk about this topic, but I think I want to approach the topic of reading trends from a little bit of a different angle, a little bit of a different direction. And specifically, I want to talk about the purpose of trends in general and of course reading trends in today's video. I also want to touch on the genres that I personally think will be blooming in the upcoming years, like 1 or 2 years. I also want to talk about the minimalist movement or underconsumption core that is trending these days, and everybody is focusing on experiences rather than numbers. And last but not least, I want to talk about publishing and publishing trends, and specifically how AI will change a lot when it comes to publishing. Definitely book covers, audiobooks, ebooks, definitely a new reading era and a new publishing era is coming. I like to start this whole discussion and this whole video by clarifying what a trend is, because when I started doing my research for this video, I realized that actually everybody identifies a trend in a different way. When it comes to me specifically, I see trends as directions in which something is developing, something is changing. And if we look at the meaning of trend or the definition of trend in the Cambridge Dictionary, then it is basically described as a general development or change in a situation or in a way that people are behaving. So sometimes when I see these trend videos that are again up on the internet circulating and people mention audiobooks and people mention book stickers and extra chapters, and there are so many other examples out there, while I consider these bookish things some very annoying bookish things, I do not consider them trends. I do not consider them reading trends. So you will not hear about these in today's video. I guess I am going against the majority in today's video because I am actually somebody who sees the purpose of trends and I am defending trends. I am on the side of trends. Now this doesn't mean that I agree to all of them, because there are a lot of stupid trends out there, right, in and outside of reading, and there are certain reading trends that I do not want to participate at all. But today's video is not about my personal preferences. It is not about what I like, what I dislike, and trust me, there are certain things that I am very apprehensive of. Like there are certain things coming our way that I'm actually really scared of, but that's not what I want to talk about in today's video. I want to keep everything very objective and very informative, simply about the trends that, in my opinion, are coming our way. I want to kick off this whole discussion with my opinion about reading trends and the purpose of reading trends from a reader's point of view, not from a business point of view and not from a marketing point of view, just simply from a reader's point of view, because just like I already said in today's video, I actually think that reading trends are very important. I kind of think of them as experiments. Maybe it is because I am a scientist, but I think that reading trends are actually very simple. They just put forward new ideas and try to keep everything fresh so we don't get bored that easily. While doing my research for this video, I actually realized that many trends that we have today, that we are hyping up today, they all existed in the past and they worked, and we brought them back and we made them fresher and newer and better. And I think that it is more important than ever because we live in the age of parasocial relationships. All of us, every single one of us, we are on social media. Like I am somebody, for example, who's not super pro social media, and I am still on social media. And with trends and with specifically with participating in trends, we can all feel that we are the part of a community, that we are part of something bigger and part of something better. So, you know, it's not really hard to understand why trends are blooming these days. Now let's talk about the genres that, in my personal opinion, again, based on the research that I did for today's video, I think will be blooming in the upcoming years. And this is actually really tough because if you really think about it, when it comes to traditional publishing, the books that they will be publishing and we will be reading in the upcoming years, they have been in the works for years. When it comes to traditional publishing, it is very hard for them to respond to any trend that pops up in social media because it's just very slow. So I actually think that when it comes to publishing, self-publishing and self-published books, they will definitely be on the rise, and they will define the genres that we will be reading, or at least like the more popular genres that we will be reading in the upcoming years. And the first genre that I want to talk about, and this is gonna be no surprise to anybody, that is romantasy. Romantasy that is basically described as the TikTok genre. It is definitely probably the hottest genre right now because it is on the top of the TBR list of many readers, and probably will be on the top of the TBR list for many readers. But I actually predict that because it has been such a popular genre for years, I definitely started to see a rise of romantasy books in around 2020. And again, it's definitely due to TikTok. I think that many of us agrees with that, but I can see romantasy publishing reaching a plateau and slowing down in like the next 2 years. Do we remember the Greek myth, feminist Greek myth retelling era, when basically writers and publishers published these Greek myth retellings left and right, and we after a while got to the point where publishers published any kind of unresearched rubbish that the authors submitted because everybody was looking for these books, and as long as you had feminist in the blurb or in the synopsis and Greek myth retellings, like, you were fine. You basically published your book. Do we remember that? Where is that genre now? Where is that hype now? And my personal opinion, and I really want to know what you guys think about this, but I can see that with romantasy, we are getting there. Again, publishing companies, houses, and writers themselves, they just don't really pay attention to the quality anymore. It's insane. Like when we get to the point where publishers and writers, again, they feel comfortable publishing a new release hardback romantasy. It's like, I don't know, like with taxes and everything, it's like $40, and the book is printed upside down, and there is mislabeling and there is misprinting, and the words are just like simply incorrect. I mean, what does it mean when your mouth is sweating? I mean, I'm sorry, but what does that even mean? A lot of people, creators, consumers, readers, are calling out the writers and the publishing houses themselves, rightfully so. And I think that we will see the peak of romantasy in the upcoming years. And then again, just like I said, we will reach that plateau when it comes to romantasy. And with romantasy reaching its peak, there will be other genres or genre fusions that will be very important, because romantasy, it all started out with the fusion of romance and fantasy, right? Now there are other fusions that are coming. Science fiction and romance, it already started, we can definitely see it. Horror and romance already started, we can definitely see it, and it is a very, very, very popular genre. Cozy mysteries and thrillers fused with romance, we can already see it. historical fiction fused with romance, it is also happening. And this basically brings me to the next genre, or maybe I should say like type of books that will be very popular in the upcoming years, and those are the cozy books, because we started cozyfying everything back in 2020, and I think it started with cozy mysteries. And I understand, because the world was in such a chaos, then everybody wanted comfort and they wanted coziness in their lives, so they just naturally started looking for those kind of books. And this trend spread into cozyfying everything. Cozy fantasy, cozy sci-fi, cozy horror. Is there anything else left? A cozy romance? I don't know. And I just feel that we have not seen the peak of the cozy books just yet. And this is where I will infuse the video a little bit with my personal opinion, because I really struggle with cozy books. I don't really like them. Cozy fantasy, no. Cozy sci-fi, no. Cozy horror, no, not really. And with all honesty, how many more cozy Japanese fiction books can we read with a cat on a cover, or a library on a cover, or pottery or pastry on the cover? Like, seriously, what do you guys think of cozy? Do you like cozy books? Do you want to keep fusing genres with the cozy aesthetics and the cozy feeling? You guys let me know in the comment below, because I personally just cannot get on board cozy. And I also predict that any kind of escapist fiction will be really big in the upcoming years, because again, considering everything that is going on in the world right now, and have been going on in the world right now for a long time, I think that people will be craving these escapist fiction books, whatever it is, so historical fiction, fantasy, sci-fi, when the happy ending, the fun times and the laughter are guaranteed. And now I really want to move on from the genres and from the type of books that I think will be popular in the upcoming years. And I want to talk about the minimalism and the minimalist movement that is currently going on in the world right now. And again, it is not really surprising, because with everything that is happening to us, with people working twice as hard and earning half as much, minimalism and the so-called underconsumption core is definitely trending, and it will be trending in the upcoming years. I feel we will choose and value experiences over consumption. And again, this is something that already started. When I look at it from a reader's point of view, from a consumer's point of view, and also when I look at the videos that I like to create and my audience like to consume, and also when I look at other creators and what type of videos they are making, again, because that's what their audiences love to watch, I feel that we are all fatigued with consumption and shopping and haul videos and book shopping videos in general. Well, at least the really, really big ones, I think, are definitely over. I think that the era of the on-haul videos that people love to watch, like I know that you guys love watching my on-haul videos, and I also really like to create them, so that's like a win-win situation. And also little free library videos, library haul videos, and all these TBR takedown or reading my TBR to zero kind of vlogs, they are really popular these days. Everybody loves watching them and people love creating them. And as long as we are talking about money and spending, I also feel that, considering how expensive physical books are these days, especially like new release hardback books, I mean, sometimes it's actually a joke. And I think that electronic books, ebooks or audiobooks, they will definitely be on the rise, and maybe, hopefully, they will be also cheaper, and I will talk about that later on in the video. I also think that people will start valuing and actually actively searching for used books and thrifted books. And I also predict the end of the number-based reading goal era. And with that, I also think that short books will be not as popular. I mean, there are so many videos again up on the internet where people upload these short book recommendation videos, like specifically read those books so you can meet your reading goal by the end of the year. And I just don't think that I can personally back that idea, and I don't think that people will care for it anymore. I like short books. I read short books, especially when I'm anxious or when I cannot focus. They definitely help me out. And I'm sure that there are other people out there who think the same way, but we will not pick them up and read them just to meet a number-based reading goal. I am predicting that the era of long books are coming. To me, because I am a fantasy reader, meaning that I read a lot of fantasy books, I read all kinds of genre, but I read a lot of fantasy. It's not really new because we all know that fantasy books are like at least 500 pages long and up to like 1,000 and 1,200, whatever. But now when it comes to other type of fiction, I am seeing that they are getting longer and longer. Like for example, like the latest Grady Hendrix release that I have here. This is a horror book, and this is like 500 pages long, and usually I don't really see that. So I kind of think that we are getting into the era of long books where people want experience, where people want to connect with the characters emotionally and have also a very exciting plot, and you can really sink your teeth into that book. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? And last but not least, I also like to talk about publishing trends and how publishing itself will be changing in the upcoming years, because we are in the era, and we will be in the era, of self-publishing books. And this is something that we can definitely thank TikTok and social media, but mostly TikTok, I think. If you think of some massively successful authors like Kennedy Ryan, Carissa Broadbent, Travis Baldree, who was the author of that romantasy book, Fear of Flames, that was picked up by a traditional publisher? I don't know the name of the authors, but ML Kwong, for example, massively successful fantasy writer. These people were all self-published, and once they are on the top of the bestseller list, the traditional publishing houses just scoop up the rights and they basically republish the same book. I mean, they edit it and they change the text here and there, but it is technically the same book, technically the same story. And I think that we're going to continue to see big publishing houses republishing indie books because they just don't want to invest anymore financially into small authors or debut authors. And this is a very interesting conversation, and maybe in the future I will create a video essay around this topic, because like this is something that actually scares me, because I feel that publishers will not really give chance to unseasoned authors. And at the end of the day, I don't think that it will be really good for readers, because again, they will just keep pushing republished books on us, sometimes very poorly edited republished books on us. And honestly, ultimately, I think it can be dangerous because it can seriously decrease the diversity of literature. I also think that publishers will keep pumping out the different special editions. They will keep pushing the different special editions onto us, but not only when it comes to books that are already very well established. I mean, with all honesty, how many more different versions can we publish for ACOTAR now, with all seriousness? But I don't think it's about like already very well loved books that they want the fans to buy, but also because people don't really want to or cannot really afford physical books anymore. At least it's very hard. Again, specifically when it comes to the new releases, already we can see limited edition prints hitting the bookshelf from debut authors with those beautiful sprayed edges, with the beautiful like golden foil inside, outside, whatever, beautiful cover designs, because they really want to get us to buy that book and to invest into that book, and maybe to even invest into that series. And I'm interested to see whether the Sarah J. Maas effect, I don't know if it's like an official thing, the Sarah J. Maas effect, but I call it like that, you know, publishing 600,000 different extra chapters and publishing 600,000 different versions of the same book. If this is something that other writers and other publishing houses are going to pick up, I hope not. But I kind of feel like that they would do anything to get us to buy the physical copy instead of the other like electronic versions or even the audiobooks that are cheaper. Besides the physical publishing and all the special editions, I also think that the audiobook industry will drastically change. I think that the accessibility, specifically when it comes to audiobooks, it will expand, all due to AI, because I would expect that the production of audiobooks will be a lot cheaper and a lot faster using artificial intelligence. Now, when it comes to AI and publishing, or the role of AI in publishing, I think that it is such an interesting, fascinating topic. And again, later I want to create a separate video about this topic, but I do want to touch on certain things in today's video. And specifically when it comes to audiobook, I'm just like a little bit scared that voice actors, narrators, and audiobook directors basically will be out of job. I think that that is definitely something that we need to consider. But when it comes to AI and audiobook specifically, I also think that there are a lot of good things that AI can give us. Like, for example, smaller authors who are not working with such a big budget, I think that it will be easier for them or more affordable for them to create audiobooks. It is also possible for them, if they have a huge backlist, to record their entire backlist with like a lower cost. And another thing to consider here, and I think that this is going to be a huge win to writers and readers alike, is that now we will be able, like authors will be able to experiment with multiple languages. When it comes to their books, audiobooks specifically, they will be able to publish books on publishing day in multiple languages at the same time. And this means a lot to readers who don't necessarily speak English or read in English, because usually when there is like a super popular book that comes out, you have to wait at least 6 months, if not a year, for that book to get translated and the audiobook to be recorded with another voice actor. And I think that this is something that artificial intelligence can change, and definitely this is gonna be a win, just like I said, both for writers and readers. I also think that AI will change specifically the blurbs on books. I think that we will get rid of those, and we will get more and more, well, hopefully improved blurbs, synopsis, and summaries when it comes to the book, because certain publishing houses and certain authors, they definitely have the room, you know, to improve when it comes to how they blurb and summarize their books. So I can definitely see that changing. And last but not least, I believe that AI will take over the design of book covers. I am convinced about that. I don't know what it will mean for artists, cover designers, whether they can work with AI or not, but it is coming. And I hope that, again, it will improve the covers that sometimes we receive, because sometimes it's tough. Sometimes you just look at the cover of that book and you're like, I'm sorry, but what is this book about? And you look at the blurbs and you look at the synopsis and you're like, I'm sorry, but what is this book about? Like, give me more information, give me some useful information before I spend my money. And there are many things that I don't know. But what I know for sure, especially when it comes to reading trends, that thanks to social media, they now spring up very organically, and honestly it is getting harder and harder to keep up with them when you're a writer, but also at the same time when you're a reader, and it is definitely getting harder and harder to forecast what's coming. I would definitely like to know your opinion and your thoughts in general about reading trends, and what are the different reading trends that you predict for the upcoming years. I really like to read your ideas, guys. I will see you guys in the comments and also in a video coming very soon. Take care, stay safe, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Bye!